All right, all right, all right. As Matthew McConaughey would say, right? All right, all right, all right. Let me see, where'd everybody go? So is everyone going over to the other channel that has all the bochinche? All that foolishness, Agwan? And I'm wondering what Truth Teacher is. Terrell, what's going on, bro? Yeah, Terrell, I'm hearing there's a lot of drama out in these YouTube streets today. You know what I'm saying? That's with so much drama in these YouTube streets, it's kind of hard being BROTEP. But it's too much, man. It's too much. And I feel like in a way, we're all the few of us who are here, right? And I had a conversation with a couple of friends and associates over on Instagram that we may not maybe we maybe me, right? I may need to start the audience from scratch because it looks like the audience that I have now, they're they're chatty Cathys. You know what I mean? They're only here to see the worst in humanity. That's not the kind of audience we're really looking for, you know? And I also feel like, and I hate saying the word feel like, I I don't think men should be saying the words I feel like, I feel like, I feel like all the time. Like that's, for women to do. No, no disrespect to women. I'm just saying like men think, women feel. That's usually the axiom. And there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, men feel as well and women think as well. And it's a mix. But for us to be just using these kind of terms as guys, I feel like you're in your feelings. You're not in your thinking. Anyhow, I digress. So I think five is enough, and I told these friends of mine that five is enough. Let's start with five, and let's build people who are interested in what we're trying to do. Then they could start strolling in, right? But the people who want to see human beings dragged for their identity and all these sorts of things, they can go ahead and be on those other channels, right? But yeah, anyhow, I was thinking about a lot of stuff, right? Because I've been doing a lot of shopping. And during all the shopping for people in the building and even for family members, I start noticing all these spending habits, right? Not just spending habits, but commercialistic behaviors that we all have. And I'm noticing it in other people, not only in myself. And then once I noticed it in other people, I started getting all judgmental. Like, did you really eat that? Uh, right? And then when I looked in the mirror, I was like, wait a minute. Come on, bro, Tap. You done did the equivalent of it just with something else. Did you really drink that? Right? Did you really snack on that? So it's not only with food either. It's more like, okay, you're coming home, you're like, why did I buy this extra thing that I didn't want? Why is it I feel really good going to this gas station but not that gas station, even though this gas station I pay more for less quality gas? These things, see, us as human beings, we're a collection of triggers. And they have companies out there that specialize in pressing those triggers. We have a lot of back programming in us that react to stimuli in the environment. And then these companies, they commercialize that stuff, they monetize it. Okay, so now here are, give me a second here. Here are the top 20 sneaky messages by products you buy. All right, give me a second. Let's get it started. And some of the stuff you probably have noticed, other stuff you haven't noticed. And thirdly, there's stuff that I'm gonna say you're gonna be like, "Oh, come on, bro, Tap, really? Come on, man, stop playing games." Yeah, really? Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Whatever it is you're smoking, I want some of that shit. And whatever it is you're drinking, you need to cut that with some water because it's too strong. All right. So some of it will be a hard pill to swallow. I understand that completely, but just bear with me. All right. So here we go. Number one. Well, it's not number one. We're doing a countdown. Number 20, Marvel Comics characters, some car companies, and Star Trek use Masonic symbols. Ever wonder what those signs that are flashed by Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and Spider Man mean? Look no further than Masonic Rite handbooks. Is there something strange about that Starfleet badge? How about that Acura car logo? But don't worry, these things are all coincidences. Go back to sleep. Number 19, banks, corporations, and other entities want you to trust them. So many of them use the colors blue and red. Blue is the color of reliability. Think of it. When you're looking at the sky, you know there'll be another tomorrow. Even though they say tomorrow is not promised to anyone, yeah, there'll be another tomorrow. And when you look towards the sky, that's a promise. Okay, that's a promise. And blue, if you ever heard the term true blue, okay, blue is the color of reliability, ascendance, and red is the color of sacred things like the blood of Christ. So banks use these different colors because they want you to trust them. They want you to feel like you can put your investment in them. And they want you to know that they will never screw you over. Right? They want you to think that anyway. They'll never screw you over. Other colors that they tend to use are things like green, orange, right? Yellow. Yellow is the color of gold. It indicates prosperity. Orange is the color of what's the word I was looking for? Sort of like to aspire. It's the color of striving, right? When the sun is rising up, it's striving, it's moving upwards. It's the color of ascendance, orange. And green is the color of, multiplicity. The green things grow, right? Green things grow. Number 18, movie studios want to help you live longer. Life is short. You live once and then you die. Movies, however, when done right, allow you to live many, many exciting lives over and over. Every movie with a central character allows you to put yourself inside the protagonist and then live their life, a life that's crafted to maximize excitement. Think about your life, right? They truncate everything that is exciting in a life and they put it in maybe an hour or 2 hours. The rest of it, the boring stuff, you waiting at the doctor's office in front of the bank, right? All these things they extract it and throw that out, and they keep only the exciting stuff, only the stuff that you're supposed to remember, because you can't put everything in your head, right? So they put all the horrible fights, all the terrible things that happened to you, all the best sex, right? They put all that stuff and truncate it into 1 hour or 2 hours. And you get to live all these lives. You get to live the Mad Max life. You get to live the T'Challa Black Panther life. You get to live Captain America's life. You get to live all these different lives, even though you only live your own personal one life. These movie studios are sort of letting you cheat. They're sort of letting you cheat so you can live more life than one. Other animals can't do that. Elephants don't wonder what it's like to be a tiger or a cougar or a bird, or you know what I mean. So we, with the power of our imagination and immersion from movies, we get to live other lives. Number 17. Some beer companies want you to feel accomplishment. Mountains are meant to be climbed. Some beer makers have the imagery of cold, ice capped mountains in both their labels and their commercials and their psychological advertising. The psychological advertising experts suggest that it's geared towards making you feel like you climbed the Alps, the Andes, Mount Everest, and then, that's a lot of hard work. Crack a cold one. You deserve a reward. Number 16. G.I. Joe wants you to feel loyalty. While movies like The Matrix, Superman, and Equilibrium are power fantasies, they want you to feel like, you're all powerful. You could take on a whole army by yourself, one man army like Rambo. Properties like G.I. Joe, however, properties like G.I. Joe, The Fast and the Furious, 300, Band of Brothers, they want you to feel a sense of undying loyalty. They're loyalty fantasies, not power fantasies. They want you to have a feeling like, you know what? There's no place I wouldn't go. I'll go to the ends of the earth to rescue one of my brothers or sisters, or, from danger or whatever. And they want you to feel like your brother or sister, would do the same for you. Number 15. Speaking of Fast and Furious, here's a not so secret message. The franchise want you to buy cars, obviously. I like to imagine that CEOs of Mercedes, Toyota, Audi, and others have like a Kumite death match in order to sort out who gets to have their cars driven by Dom or Letty or any of these characters and these stars. Some report that the manufacturers have a spike in sales every time the sequel hits theaters. Number 14. Again, speaking of our favorite drag racing franchise, Fast and the Furious, this one's pretty sneaky. The franchise wants you to have respect for authority. Now, I know it's a bunch of rebels in this film. However, there's a surprising amount of love for law enforcement in that franchise. Notice how Dom's team go out of their way to not harm police officers or FBI agents during their chases, their adventures, their missions. They go out of their way to prevent police deaths. Okay? And Dom himself, Dominic Toretto, is a sort of authority figure himself. He's kind of like the captain of a special forces team. Number 13. Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, and all these military games want you to join the military, obviously. From the vicarious atonement of the missions to feeling a sense of accomplishment, when you take down a big boss or you wipe out an entire cell of terrorists, right? These video game franchises are not solely for entertainment, but rather they are secretly, psychologically using techniques embedded in the scripts to give you a feeling of patriotism within the player. It's supposedly so successful, right, that China was looking at how the recruiting was boosted in America, that China started making their own kind of military video games, and they started making the villains in the video games Americans. Number 12. The X-Men wants you to think about black people. It's been suggested that in several interviews, Stan Lee confessed that he began to shape many of the characters in the franchise as a direct analog to real-world figures. For example, Professor Xavier is Martin Luther King, with his message of peace, love, acceptance, tolerance, harmony, and it's directly reflective upon the good doctor, rest in peace. His antagonist, Magneto, is a direct comparison to Minister Malcolm X. In fact, the slogan has been used, by the way, going on from Malcolm X and go into mutants. The slogan that has been used: "They vow to protect a world that hates and fears them." That's a direct motto that is reflective of the African American experience, as they have fought in every war this country has ever fought, and they're involved in every conflict. And when they come back, they have to face a lot of discrimination and hatred from the very people whose freedom they went overseas to protect. Right? Number 11. Give me a second here. Number 11. Here's an obvious one. Subway wants to make you feel very hungry. When you see their signs, the company logo is very carefully designed with the word sub, light, and the word way being darker. So you come in empty and you leave full. Come in empty, leave full. And even the choice in color is psychologically effective and is meant to trigger your taste buds, with the greens for vegetables, the beiges for bread, and yellow for mustard. Have you thought about that last time you chopped down on a hero or a hoagie? Number 10. Santa Claus doesn't want you to have a Merry Christmas. He wants you to buy, buy, buy. While the original Saint Nick was a giver who would go and leave presents at the doors of the impoverished. Funny story about the coal that's left in the stocking. You guys have heard that it's a punishment. Like if you've been bad, and Santa knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake, right? That is an inverted idea, because originally the original Saint Nick, who was a rich man, and he would go door to door where people were freezing inside of their own homes, and what he would do is he would put a lump of coal, a huge lump of coal, in front of their door or in their shoes, if they had shoes. Anyway, if they didn't have shoes, he would put shoes there, right, and put a lump of coal in it. Okay, but if they already had shoes, he just put the coal. Give me a second. And so that's just a very interesting thing, that people have turned it into a thing where if you get coal, then it means Santa thought you were bad. No, no. He put coal there so that the people can have coal and put in their home, in their furnaces, and prevent them from freezing to death overnight. So getting back to Santa here, while we have a lot of figures and like the happy character, the persona that we know today as Santa Claus is a direct result of many decades of American capitalism, with companies like Coca-Cola helping shape him. While he may have at one time represented happiness and the Yuletide spirit, today's Santa Claus wants you to spread that wealth around. Spend that money, honey. Right? Number 9. Gotta go through the old notes here. Looking at the images, what do you think number 9 is? Sad movies want to make you eat sweets. When I worked in a movie theater, they made us stock extra chocolate in the concession stands for sad movies, right? We're playing like anything that's made from Jane Austen, or anything with Anne Rice or anything like that, sad stuff. They made us stock extra sweets, all the Mike and Ike's and Nestle chocolate and all these different things. Okay. And lo and behold, those things quickly disappeared from the concession stand. During the ceremony for a loved one, right, at a funeral, what do you have? You have a table or many tables full of comfort food. After a huge breakup, you find yourself gaining weight as you medicate the emotions with food that console you. Movie theaters have certainly recognized these triggers, and they have stocked the stands with all your favorite Kellogg, Nestle, Carnation chocolates and sweets right after the main character of the movie you're watching gets that incurable disease or dies tragically in a boating accident. Now you've had a good cry. Comfort yourself with some chocolate. Number 8, car companies want you to feel like you're moving through space. Okay? Now, I don't know how many of you have seen a lot of these car companies, but they're making them more and more like spacecrafts. And that's not by accident. They want you to feel a sense of movement, obviously. That's kind of like, duh, right? They're a car. But they want it to be a moving experience, as if you're a space explorer. Now, I forget who it was that was in an interview and actually said this out loud, but it's a thing. It's a thing. They can try to deny it. I don't see why they should, because that's totally a good thing to have in terms of a goal, right? It's a good thing to have in terms of a goal. But car companies, they use all these different cues, right? With all these different movies that you watch to make your car look more and more like the crafts you see at the movies. One particular car company, I think Jeep, made new their new sedan to look like a stormtrooper. They had the exact colors of a stormtrooper. Number 7, team sports want to make you a better citizen. Whether you're at home shouting instructions in front of your television, oh, how'd you miss that pass? Next time, right, right? Or at the stadium wearing your favorite team's jersey and their uniform colors as face paint, you're showing a strong sense and desire to be part of a tribe. That's the feeling that authorities want to cultivate. Once that sense of in group loyalty is strengthened, it can easily be redirected towards other aspects of society, including civic responsibilities like paying taxes, attending jury duty, voting, joining the military. All these different things are fostered by an in group feeling. And you get that honed and sharpened through team sports. Number 6, popular music want to make you have sex. While original folk hymns were for peasants and classical music were for elites, and they all, both those things, those genres, fostered a sense of calmness and reflection upon the listener. The forms of genre that came afterwards, like ragtime, rhythm and blues, rock and roll, they rocked the boat. They were music of rebels. And what's sexier than a rebel? Nothing, that's what. At certain institutions that study the structure of music, they developed these genres and furthered all their aspects. And what they do is they vibrate on the lower chakra, the base urges, hunger, sex, violence. All right? That's why you have all the gangster rap music and the super sexed out R&B music and the satanic raw, ruckus of heavy metal. All these things are made to vibrate on the lower chakra. And the one thing that those things have in common is that they want you to have more sex. And you'll just have to look it up. It seems like a far-fetched idea, but if you look it up, you'll see that I'm at least part right. Number 5, soft drinks want to make you feel naughty. It's not a surprise to discover that advertising companies seek to use subliminal messaging in their products' names, logos, and ads. Pepsi involves letters that summon the Egyptian god Apep. The closest equivalent we have in the Judeo Christian community to Apep is the devil. Feeling naughty yet? How about Coca Cola, which had early associations with cocaine? Are you feeling naughty now? Number 4, you're not going to believe this, but police officers want your confidence. Despite the dubious reputation law enforcement has earned today, Police officers still want you to trust them. Blue is a color associated with trustworthiness. We covered that before with the banks. The badge and tool belts around their waist trigger a sense of benevolent authority. The visor, if you look at the visor on your screen, the visor on the hat, it resembles it resembles the exposed eyes of a knight's helmet. Back in the day, oh, the throat. Back in the day, if you saw an armored knight, you didn't see his eyes, you didn't know if it was a good or bad knight, right? But once they remove the visor, right, the visor lifts up, you saw their eyes, you saw their intentions, you're like, all right, this guy's not here to hurt me. Okay. Now you may be asking, what about sheriffs and highway patrolmen who wear brown? Well, brown is a color associated with dependability, sturdiness, and being grounded. And so sheriffs also want your confidence. Number three, your priests want to get you high, 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 baby. Now, I know I'm ruffling a few feathers here, but just hear me out. The experience that you get in your church, that uplifting spirit, it's a series of chemicals, including dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Studies have suggested that all these things are released in the body when you go to your congregation or your mass. Spiritual leaders, in doing so, want you to achieve some sort of nirvana, some sort of high feeling experience. Okay. Now, the thing is, they will do this by making you drug yourself. All these things are released by the brain. I think the amygdala or the hypothalamus, either one. Right. I could be, it could be one or the other. Now, the thing is, you don't need drugs for it to get super high. People don't know this. Your body has the ability to make you high as fuck, makes you real high. But a lot of people want the artificial. They don't want to work for it. Basically, to get high in church, you have to work for it. You have to work yourself into a frenzy, and you have to get that spiritual journey inside of you, and then you're high. All right. Well, we at number three. Uh-oh, that should have been number three. Number two, comic book companies use classical elements in their creations. All right. So people have kind of missed this, and this is a quick one. And I'm shocked that they missed this, that the Fantastic Four are the four elements. Human Torch is fire, Ben Grimm, the Thing, is earth, Invisible Woman is air, Mr. Fantastic is water. And for those of you who like the original X-Men, right, the Beast is earth. Jean Grey, aka the Phoenix, she's fire. Okay? Um, the winged guy, what do you call him? Angel, he's air. And Iceman is literally water, just frozen. Now, the Cyclops in the middle, Cyclops has an eye, or a Cyclops has an eye in its forehead. Now, a Cyclops has two eyes as a human being, but the name, right? The name implies a third eye, or in the case of a Cyclops, that's the only eye. But it's the element of mind. So, earth, water, fire, air, and mind, right? Number one, if you saw the thumbnail, you know what this was going to be. Fast food places want to be churches. They want you to associate their franchise with a spiritual experience. Many of their locations are built to resemble churches. Now, a lot of people pull up in the drive-through and they don't look at the building before they pull in there. If you look at the roof and the spires and all these different turrets on top of it, you'll see that they're built almost like churches, almost but not quite like churches. But they're built enough like churches that your subconscious registers the silhouette as a church. You don't know you saw a church, but your subconscious knows you saw a church when you pulled up there. And that's why you got the crazy kids in the back, and you're like, oh, I need to go to McDonald's. Come on, McDonald's. I see it. They saw that silhouette and they feel like, okay, the way I felt when I was in church with mommy, when I was in mommy's lap, and I felt all that energy, I can feel that same way with McDonald's. Only plus there's the food I like. Okay. And as far as the logos go, right, that's when we get really deep. Both gold and red are associated closely with divinity. The designers of the logo will defend their artistic choices, claiming that, okay, well, it's actually a red box and then some golden fries that are stuck in it. They're lying. They're lying. On the surface, that's what it is. But your mind's eye perceives it as golden gates of heaven. Those aren't two fries. Look, if they were standing straight, that's okay. They're fries, but they're not standing straight. They're bent like gates. They're actually gates. They're gates to heaven. Okay. Taco Bell is literally a chapel bell. Literally. And the colors purple and gold have long been associated with royalty. Plus, gold is also a color for divinity. And royalty is directly descended from divinity. That's why all these kings are like, I'm the representative of God on earth. That's why these people have these sorts of colors. Okay. Now, Um, let me know how many of these things we got. Something like 5 people here. How many of these things you agree with, or do you think I'm stretching? What's your favorite color, Denise? Which one was your favorite color? Purple. Yeah, purple's good, man. I like mauve too. It's kind of like a derived from purple. I like mauve as well. Purple and gold. A lot of denominations have bishops that wear purple and gold, which is very interesting. It's very interesting, you know. But how many of you guys have ever felt like, for example, the movie theater thing, right? You guys never noticed that the sad movies they put more sweets on the stands when you go see sad movies. They put all the small tubs of ice cream, behind in the refrigerator case, the glass refrigerator case. They put more Nestle chocolate out there. They put all these different things when you go see a sad movie. Like, what's a sad movie where the kid had cancer? The they fell in love at some sort of cancer ward or something like that, and the boy had tubes in his nose and had a was carrying some sort of you never noticed that about the sad movies? Yeah, they do a lot of things in the movie theaters. Working there, for example, when I worked in a movie theater, I was in there, and I'll make you sound like you're DMX. When I worked in movie theaters, one of the things that they made us do was, if it's a horror movie, they made us turn the AC up. No matter how cold it was outside, it could be winter. They made us turn the AC up, right? So if it's hot outside, they made us turn the AC up a lot. If it's already cold outside, we turn the AC up a little bit. We don't want to freeze them, right? Freeze the customers. But that way, it makes you shiver and it makes the movie more effective. And after you get the adrenaline rush. That's why a lot of movies have the jump scares in the middle of, like, the plot. The guy sneaking in the hotel room, right? Or the abandoned place, and then every corner he turns around, there's a oh my god, it's just a cat. Oh, it's just a crow. All these things make your body produce spikes of adrenaline, right? Immediate adrenaline, and they keep messing with your body. Then you want comfort food, so you step outside. So you're cold, you're scared, you step outside to get some warmth, to get some hot dogs, to get overpriced overpriced candy and all these different things, and we sell them to you. What else? That's scary movies. Action movies. We like salty stuff. We like to put salty stuff with the action movies, and also with the horror movies too. Not the horror movies, the sad movies too. We put salty stuff because, especially if people cry at the end of it, the body's depleted of sodium. So naturally, you're like, I could go for some chips. I don't know why. These people mess with your minds, man. They mess with your minds. You know. So after a good cry, you want to replenish the stuff that was lost in in the tears that were shed, right? So that includes glucose and sodium. Okay, glucose and sodium. So you want salts and sweets, lots of sweets. I don't know why, like the sad stuff made people like chocolate a lot, and I have to look into that connection to see what's going on there. Let me ask, how many things? Hold on, cigarette commercials. Yes, sundown. Yes, sundown. Cigarette commercials. Those cigarette commercials, I should have put. See that's the thing. I putting these together. I had to do all this research, and and there's a lot of stuff I missed. Next time I'll probably do another one, and I'll do nicotine, caffeine, and liquor. Right, nicotine, caffeine, and liquor. I'll do that next time because with cigarettes, they have a whole bunch of poison. How many of you guys? A lot of you are from the DR, right? So let me see. Denise, you're from Puerto Rico. X, you're from DR. I don't know who else is in here who might be from DR. The only people I see here, I recognize like four of you. So the rest of these people must be snow taps or slow taps too. But Smoothie, are you from the DR? I'm asking because in the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Puerto Rico, our uncles smoke natural tobacco, right? And ne'er one of them died of cancer yet. They might have died of other shit. Like I got a uncle. He ain't died of cancer. He died because he was sleeping with some dude's wife. All right, that's how he died. That's how he died. He ain't died of cancer. At all of 67 years old, he was sneaking around with somebody's wife, and so that's what took him down. Smoker all his life. What he'd do is he'd grow the tobacco in whatever form it was, in his little yard. And then yeah, he just yeah, exactly. Then he smoked the leaves. He'd have some brown paper that he'd roll the leaves up in, and then he'd put some other herbs in there too. I don't know what kind of herbs that he put in there. I think he was in the habit of putting mint in there too, or whatever. And no cancer or anything. So what I had to look up, my great grandma smoked tobacco out of a pipe, lived a long life. Yeah, that's the thing. See, they're smoking natural stuff out the ground. When my mom asked me about this last year, because we had a family member die. He was a long time smoker too. He wasn't my uncle. He was a long time smoker, but smoked natural tobacco, and he died. And he died of something else. He got hit by something. You guys ever heard of the? I'm sure in the DR you guys have a different name for it, but in Haiti we call them camionettes, camionettes, and those are basically, a guy buys a little Ford truck, and then for some reason he goes and gets a welder to weld different stages on it so that like 30, 40, 50 people can ride in that one sedan or Ford truck at a time, right? So one of those things hit him, and then he died, and then we got the news, and we're like, and when he died, I was so used to hear, whenever someone died and they're long smoking, I'm like, oh my God, cancer got him. So I was so conditioned to that here. When news came and my mom told me, like, such and such died, I was like, oh man, that cancer's a hell of a. She's like, cancer? No, this nigga got hit by a camionette. He got hit by one of them things because there's no speed limit out in Haiti for some reason. Like these people take to the road and they just book it, like, "Blah," you know. A lot of times people have cars that are faster than police cars down there. So, catch me if you can, right? So, I had to look up how come the cigarettes here kill us, but the ones over in uh, the Caribbean or other countries don't kill us, right? And I found out that the cigarettes they have here, they put a long list of shit in it. Like, let me go. I'm gonna do something because last night I did a whole live stream and that shit got yanked down due to like 10, 15 copyright strikes. And I told all the people here, like, yo, because everybody here was sending links. They're like, hey, look at this. It's real funny. I was like, dude, what is it? Is it proprietary? Is it like, BET, Comedy Central? What is it? They're like, no, 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 trust me, it's good. I was like, dude, It's about copyright. No, no, go there. I went there. Copyright strike. Copyright strike. Hey, what up, Only Jess? Why is it it's only now people are rolling in? I'm not going through this countdown again. Y'all gonna have to catch the playback. All right, catch the playback. And if you want reminders, I have the papers here, and I can remind y'all, and then you guys can opine on each one, right? But yeah, I found out. Let me go. Give me a second. Give me a second here. I'm gonna look up real quick what's in cigarettes. I remember the long list of poisons that was in that shit, and I remember going, "Are you kidding me?" Hold on one second. So what's going on tonight with everybody? I'm not gonna ask what's going on in the other side of this YouTube community. They can hold that down. We're not doing that over here. We're not doing that over here. Because I don't know if it's some WWE shit, if both men are in on it and they're just doing it, so they can grow their channels, or if it's real deal. Like if it's like real deal, and they really have beef like that, then that's a horse of a different color, and they can hold that down too. They can hold that down too. Because I don't want a phantom audience. Because if imagine if that's how you build your audience, right? You do this WWE shit, so you're gonna have to keep feeding that beast. That's a beast that you birthed and nurtured. So you're gonna have to keep doing that. And so, what's your content gonna look like? It's gonna be this guy's beefing with that guy, this girl's beefing with that girl, this girl hates that guy, that guy. No, 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 no. But here's a list of stuff that's in cigarettes, right? So acetone, that's the stuff in nail polish when you go get your nails did, and then you smell that alcoholic gas, like it smells partially of alcohol, partially of gas, like gasoline. Yeah, acetone. In fact, when I worked in a sign shop, I worked in a lot of places, come to think of it. When I worked in a sign shop, that's what we used. We used acetone, the kind that you use in beauty parlors. We use that to scrape paint off of the side of cars when we want to put signs on them. Carbon monoxide, that's in there too. Lead, like literally, they put lead in your cigarettes. Arsenic, that they used to poison rats with, they put that in your cigarette. Acetic acid, that's an ingredient in hair dye. Cadmium, that's in battery acid, and which is also a poison. Butane, which is lighter fluid. That I guess that's why cigarettes light up so much and so easily, because there's butane in there. But remember, when you light it up, you're also inhaling all that butane. Formaldehyde, that's embalming fluid. So you're already going towards the grave while putting that cancer stick in your mouth. They're like, hey, why not go for the whole package? We'll put formaldehyde in there, and then you can go ahead and die a corpse prematurely. Ammonia, they put ammonia up in this bitch. That's crazy. And there are over 559 other additives in there, which I won't go through that. I won't go through that. Let me see. Benzene, that's petrol fumes. Nicotine, obviously. Okay. Nicotine, that's understandable. Methanol. Wow. Hexamine. Stearic acid, that's found in candle wax. And mind you, once you smoke that, that's gonna go all up in your lungs. So you'll have candle wax up in your lungs, and you wonder why is it these people are just up and dying. These people are just up and dying from smoking cigarettes. Meanwhile, my uncle and my grandfather are out there, smoking three, four, three, four of those rolled up uh, tobacco cigs, back in the Caribbean, back in the Dominican Republic. Oh, fiberglass in the filters. Look at that. Sundown. Fiberglass in the filters. That's crazy. So no, if I ever become a smoker, what I'll do is I'll order stuff from like the DR, Haiti, etc. I'll smoke that. I'll smoke that. Feces? There's feces in there, sundown? That's damn disgusting. But I can see why there is, because when I owned dogs out in Georgia, when I used to walk them, I was like, damn, why that crap smells so strong? Then I looked it up, right? And then I found that um there's kind of there's a it's not a toxic, but there's there's a chemical in dog's poop and poop in general, but very strong in dog poop, that if it gets in your nostrils, you get lightheaded, right? So I can see why they might have feces in there. Hold on, you make me want. Hold on, what you say, Denise? You make me want an 18-year-old robusto. I don't know what that is. That's a cigar, right? Because my buddy who used to live here, rest in peace to him. He lived in the building. I gave him a discount on rent and shit. And he was a big cigar fan. He'd have like rows and rows of different cigars coming out of Cuba, the DR. What else? He got Cuba's Colombian cigars. I'm like, they make cigars in Colombia? He's like, well, they make cigars everywhere. Just Cuba makes them better. Who's Brian Johnson? Let me see. Brian, you know what? Brian Johnson was good, man. Let me say, just in case it's some gay ops. You feel me? Because I don't know what's going on here. In case it's some gay ops. I don't want any to flash any unwanted photos from his avatar or anything like that. Yeah, see, he left. So I don't know who that was. Brian Johnson, if you're listening, it's not that I don't trust you, but I gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be careful. It's already an hour. Okay, you know what? I think that might be enough. Let me see what's going on in these section. Radical Latino, what's going on, man? You smell any type of fecal matter, you'll be lightheaded. You think so? I mean, I haven't. That hasn't been my experience. It's really dog poop. Like when I used to walk these dogs and they take a dump, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like I'd be stumbling, like, yo, what did you guys eat? I know what I fed you, but like, did you eat something while I turned around? you know and usually, yeah, it is a thing where I think they ate stuff when I turned around, or if I allowed them to roam we had a huge yard back there, so if I let them roam around, they probably went and found some dead things and ate them, you know what I mean, or killed things, like they probably kill snakes and eat them. One time one of my dogs came back and he looked disfigured, man. He had the side of his face, it looked like it ballooned up, and me and the fellas were like, "What happened to you?" And then he was like, "We're like, nah, nigga, explain what happened." And then he turned and looked. People don't understand that dogs can understand you, man. They can understand you, because when I asked what happened, he turned his nose towards the bushes, and apparently, some sort of, I don't know, king snake, or I can't spot the pattern or what venomous snake it was, but yeah, it took the snake dumped a few a few ounces of venom, on the side of that face. My man, the dog's name is Onyx. My man Onyx got too curious out there in the bushes. He wanted to leave where I got all comfort. See, that's the other thing. I don't like training animals, and so I used to get in trouble when animal control would come out there, because I train the dogs not to bite people, right? Unless they try to break into the house. And then, even so, here's a digression of that digression. Let me digress some more. So the one time I need this motherfucker, he left and is out chasing some bitches across the neighborhood. Right? The one time I need this motherfucker, because I was home alone, and like Macaulay Culkin, and I'm sitting here drawing for a client. And the way I draw on a computer, I turn all the lights out so that I can focus on the actual screen. So where I'm positioned in the house, it's not facing at least three faces of the building. So only one face of the building knows, right, can indicate that someone's in there. The other three sides of the building, people were like, okay, free shit. Because that's the kind of neighborhood I lived in. Free shit. So I hear douche, someone kicked the door down. And, I'm like, frickin' Georgia, man. Frickin' Georgia. So I run down the hallway and I grab a knife, from the kitchen stand, and I assume a position and I'm facing them two dudes, and they're like, fuck you think you're doing? I was like, look, man, you could do what you want and you could overpower me, but just know this knife is going in at least one of you. Like after I stab one of you, like it goes straight in, like all what 9, 10 inches of this knife goes completely in you. Then your boy can, go ahead and tackle me, but one of you is gonna have this knife. And so those dudes are like, all right, man, all right, cool. And they left. So the one time I need this motherfucker Onyx, he's out there chasing tail. That shit was infuriating. But, I digress. Back to the original digression, right? So this dude Onyx came out the bushes, saw his face all swole up and stuff, and so we had to use a pump, because we ain't want to take it to. Look, that's not a place. The place where I lived at. Give me a second. Yeah, sorry, had to. I don't know why I muted to begin with. If I'm just gonna take a swig from the bottle with with the mic on anyway, so I might as well not have muted in the first place. But the place I lived at, you don't want to go to animal control or the pet places with an injured pet, because we're close to a lot of the Mexican hubs, and the Mexicans, no disrespect to them, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but these motherfuckers have dog fights. Okay? And so when you show up with an injured pet in the place where I used to live, right? You show up with an injured pet, they automatically they're forced to make a report. They're forced to make a report so that they can, rule out the possibility that I'm a dog fighter, right? Or dog fight, whatever the hell, Michael Vicks. What the fuck was that guy's name? Who went for a bit? He went up top for a bit for the NFL dude, right? They want to make sure I'm not, a non-famous Michael Vick out there like making dogs fight. So we looked up, me and my peoples, we looked up, what how to drain venom. So we found out like techniques and stuff like that, and we drained all that fluid from the side of Onyx's face, and his face was all saggy. It was damn disgusting, right? And the fluid looked freaking gross too, But we shouldn't have done that because we should have let it gone down by itself. What happened is a lot of the cells from the dog's body rushed there to fight the infection and all the foreign agent, which is the venom. So, and removing a lot of that fluid, we also removed some of these cells that are fighting the venom. So he got even more sick, and then we thought he wasn't gonna make it, man. We thought he wasn't gonna make it. And, he was gonna have to have a funeral out there and in that backyard. You feel me? Because I'm not taking the dog back there. Because next thing you know, I'm in prison. They're gonna be like, "Oh, black man, convicted of dog fighting." Because what the first thing, because the Mexicans out there are so crazy that the first thing, once they start pumping out all that venom from Onyx's face, the first thing that's gonna come to their mind is, "Well, this guy was out here, having this dog fight some cobras." That's what they would think of. That's what they would think of. You know what I mean? That's the only thing they think of. They wouldn't think, "Oh, my dog actually, he ran out," which dogs are prone to do out there. Which is the other thing. All right, so One dog is Onyx, the other dog is Bentley, right? Sorry, I didn't name the motherfuckers. It was my niece, and she named them, right? So it's Bentley and Onyx. And the thing is, one of the reasons why I don't enjoy putting dogs on leashes is because they feel like, you know, feel like I own slaves. I don't like that shit. So, I put them in a room, which is much better, right? I put them in a room with everything they need, right? And when I see like they're when I see they're doing the I got a pool or pee dance, right? I let them out, and I go out there. I let them out one at a time. I let one out, and the other one stays in there because when they run in packs, right? So the niece and nephew, they come in there and they let them out together. Every time they let them out together, those dogs never come back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they come back later, but they don't come back that night. They never come back that night. They come back like 2 or 3 nights later. You know what I mean? So I used to do some runs like in the middle of the night to clear my head. So it was like maybe on the second day of the dogs having disappeared. So just to let you guys know what kind of neighborhood that shit is. You know, you don't have to worry about gangs. The dogs. That's what you got to worry about. So it's going on 2 nights, and I go out there and I'm doing some running, right? And if I find a clean spot near a park or something, I do some push ups, jumping jacks, you know what I'm saying? And I might throw some kicks. And so I'm hearing growling near the bushes. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna go home. So I come home, and then next couple of nights, I'm on some white boy shit. I don't know why I even go back out there. That's white boy and horror movie shit to do that. But I went back out there. And so while I'm back out there, the voices, the doggy voices in the bushes finally start coming out. And lo and behold, so it's 4 days of these motherfuckers haven't coming back yet. And so lo and behold, it's like 5 or 6 dogs, right? And it's real dark. So I don't know who it is yet. But I'm out there with because I had stopped by White Castle. Yes, it's White Castle, and it's real late out there. Funny digression about White Castle out there in Georgia. Out there in Georgia, the specific place I was at, it's the Wild Wild West. So these people, they were running their own shit back there in White Castle, selling all kinds of shit. If you could probably go there and buy a fucking gun if you want, because there was no oversight. Like the regional manager would come in, see that the place ain't burned down, and then leave. Right, and then these guys are out there like they get stock of meat and vegetables from a truck that comes in, and then they kind of like write it off. So these people were making their own side businesses. So I showed up there, and I was like, I ain't got a car. I ran here. They're like, nah, you all right? I'm like, damn, y'all supposed to let me pull up to this drive through. Y'all could get, what's the insurance company? They're like, motherfucker, ain't no insurance company out here. Pull up, get your food, nigga. So I showed up there. They had the card reader, and I bought something like $10 worth of food, and they gave me like $30 worth of food, and they're like, just give me the card. So they give me $30 worth of food and take $10 off the card. So they making themselves a little profit out there. You know what I'm saying? Uh, um, no. They take $10 and then and I tip them. That's where they make the extra money. So $30. I tip them 10, and they got 10 off the card to feed the cashier machine. So they're making their little paper out there. Everything that comes in, they get a little tip off of it, and they give you extra food. Okay, so that's the hood, right? Damn. So I'm coming back there with like a good. I'm trying to walk back home with something like $30 worth of extra fucking taco meat. That I'm like, yo, I asked for like 2 bean burritos and three. I asked for 2 bean burritos, a chicken quesadilla, and 3 chicken burritos. Right? Um, no bean burritos. Okay, who cares, right? The whole thing is they filled it with a whole bunch of meat, and stuff like that. So I'm walking there, and these dogs came out there, something like 6, 7 dogs, and it's dark, and they start mugging me for the bag of food. They're like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah." They got paws all in my chest. I'm like, back down. So I'm protecting the food, which was on some stupid shit. I should just let them have the food. But I had gotten away with free meat. you know, my primal side took over. It was like if you're in the jungle, right? And then you just made a kill, like you killed the elk, right? And you're a lion, you just killed the elk, and then some hyenas have surrounded you and they trying to take the carcass away, and you're like, yo, go kill your own elk. You feel me? So the the damn hood not hoodness, but the damn primalness took over me, and I was protecting the food, which was kind of stupid. And then suddenly I noticed the droopy side of the face. I'm like, wait a minute, nigga, I know you. And then Onyx is looking away in shame. I was like, did you two motherfuckers form a gang? And instead of like coming here and bringing all that clout this way, so that you could be like, all right, bro, tap, we got you. We gave a gang to you. You formed a gang and you came to mug me, nigga. Like you supposed to look out for me. Like I wasn't mad that they started the gang out there. Like and to be like to give credit where credit's due, Onyx and Bentley, they weren't like the bitches or the runts in the pack. Like they were the leaders of that pack, yo. So I was proud of that shit. But why you gonna mug me? Like you're my dogs, you know? But I let them go back out with that pack, which I shouldn't have because that's illegal. But there's just real funny stuff happened out there in the Georgia sector. I got mugged by my own dogs, or a pack of dogs led by my own dogs. I got mugged for my taco meat. But hold on one second. So again, what's going on out here in these YouTube streets? I'm actually thinking of ending this now because most likely everyone's over in that other side. Hold on. Oh, what's this? All right. So let me just end this here real quick, and then I will see you people some other time then. Ending in 10, 9, 8, 7. It's an hour broadcast, which isn't bad. Hour and 20 minutes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.